seeing a headline about corporate manufacturing numbers, like how many airplanes rolled out of a factory this month, it usually just feels like dry
Oh,
statistics.
yeah, just, spreadsheets and quarterly targets, nothing super exciting on the surface.
Exactly. But if you look past that raw data, those numbers are actually a literal blueprint for the entire global aviation labor market. And really, they're a physical map of how you are going to travel in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time a manufacturer adjusts a delivery target, it sends this, like, physical shockwave through the global economy.
Right.
Because you aren't just looking at metal tubes rolling out of a hangar.
Yeah.
You're looking at a trigger mechanism for international route planning, the daily schedules of thousands of aviation professionals, and even massive shifts in military logistics.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have two briefings from the Airbus Mentor Academy on the table today for our deep dive. They're both dated July 8, 2026. We're looking at the Airbus Weekly News and the Airbus Global Briefing.
Yeah, and starting with the sheer volume coming off the assembly line right now, it's pretty staggering.
It really is. The briefings show 89 aircraft delivered in June 2026 alone. So that pushes the first half total for the year to 351 aircraft, which is, roughly a 15% jump compared to the exact same period in 2025.
Right, a very noticeable bump.
And Reuters flagged this massive internal push happening behind the scenes, too. Airbus has an official delivery guidance of 870 aircraft for the year, which, is what they tell their investors.
Is a safe number.
Exactly. But informally, they're pushing their supply chains to break 900 deliveries.
And, 30 extra airplanes might just seem like a rounding error when you're approaching 1,000.
Yeah, it sounds small.
But 30 additional commercial jets represent a seismic shift in operational reality. A commercial jet isn't a car you just, drive off a lot.
Right. So think about a massively popular neighborhood restaurant suddenly adding 20 tables to its dining room overnight.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic for the revenue sheet, right? More tables mean more paying customers. But adding those tables without expanding the kitchen staff or, hiring more waiters and increasing the food orders, it just creates this massive bottleneck.
It's a logistical nightmare waiting to happen.
Exactly. It's great for business, but do we actually have enough chefs and waiters to handle the rush? Because the whole system risks collapsing into chaos if the back-end infrastructure can't support that front-end expansion.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the aviation labor market operates on that exact same friction. A single new aircraft entering service doesn't just need one pilot.
Wait, really? How many does it need?
It requires 4 to 5 complete crews to handle 247 operations, mandatory rest periods, sick leave, all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're talking 10, 12 pilots per plane. And before those pilots ever touch the flight controls with actual passengers on board, they have to go through highly specific type rating training.
So walk me through the physical mechanics of that training, because the bottleneck isn't just about finding people who generally know how to fly a plane, right?
No, not at all. The real bottleneck is the physical hardware required to teach them. Pilots don't learn a new commercial jet by, caking it up for a spin.
Right. That would be incredibly expensive.
And
dangerous.
Samely. So they train in full-flight simulators. And these are massive, multi-million-dollar, 6-axis hydraulic machines that perfectly replicate the physics and systems of a specific aircraft.
So why don't airlines just buy more simulators?
Well, you can't just build a new building, buy 10 simulators, and
What?
plug them into the wall like a video game console.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, they require huge real estate, specialized technician support, and really intense certification from regulators. And because of this, simulator schedules are notoriously brutal.
How brutal are we talking?
They often run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is entirely common for a pilot to be doing their recurrent emergency training at 2 in the morning, simply because that is the literally only 2-hour slot available in the entire facility.
Wow. So when Airbus pushes past its official 870 target to try and hit 900, they are injecting dozens of massive labor requirements into a system that is, like you said, already running training sessions at 2 in the morning.
Exactly. The waves hit the hiring department, the training centers, the maintenance hangars, everything.
But wait, if integrating a single new jet is this massive logistical headache, requiring this scramble for instructors and tight simulator schedules, why are airlines placing such huge orders right now? I mean, they clearly aren't buying them just to park them on the tarmac.
No, definitely not. Fleet strategy is essentially a billion-dollar bet on what an airline believes the future of travel will look like in their specific region.
Okay.
They are willing to take on the logistical nightmare of training and integration because the alternative is losing market share.
Let's look at how that plays out with a specific aircraft then. The briefings highlight the Airbus A330neo. So this is a wide-body aircraft. And for you listening, a wide-body is your classic twin-aisle plane. The massive jets you take for long haul, international flights across oceans, hauling 250 to 300 plus people.
The big ones, yeah.
Right. And the briefings detail two very different airlines placing massive bets on this exact same wide-body jet. First, we have Scandinavian Airlines, or SAS, placing an order for 18 of them.
Yeah, and that order is actually the centerpiece of a broader $10 billion investment SAS is making. It involves up to 40 European long-haul aircraft overall.
Okay, and then on the other side of the world, China Eastern Airlines is planning to purchase 25 of these same A330neo jets. But their deliveries are scheduled way out, like between 2029 and 2033.
Right, a much longer timeline.
So what does this all mean? We have two airlines operating in totally different economic climates, buying the exact same multi-million-dollar hardware, but using entirely different timelines.
It really comes down to geography. Regional demand completely dictates those fleet choices. The SS order is a textbook example of a mature market strategy.
Meaning what, exactly?
Well, the European aviation market is highly developed and heavily regulated. The focus there isn't on aggressive, wild expansion. It is focused heavily on operational efficiency, sustainability, and replacing older, gas-guzzling jets.
Ah, because operating an older jet in Europe is becoming financially punitive, right? You have strict environmental regulations, high carbon taxes, and incredibly steep landing fees at major hubs like Heathrow or Frankfurt based on noise and emissions.
Spot on. S's regional demand necessitates modern wide-body economics. The NEO in A330neo stands for a new engine option.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and these new engines provide massive fuel efficiency gains over the previous generation. So SAS is replacing aging hardware to deal with high European fuel costs. But they also still need the long-haul flexibility to reach North America or Asia.
Okay, I get SAS wanting efficiency. They need a drop-in replacement that meets regulations right now. But China Eastern is dropping a massive order for 25 of these same A330neos, and they aren't even taking delivery until 2029 through 2033. That doesn't really sound like a quick efficiency fix for a mature market.
No, it's an entirely different philosophy.
Okay.
The Asian market is currently characterized by a post-pandemic long-haul recovery phase.
So they're still rebuilding.
Exactly. They are rebuilding international networks from the ground up, and they are anticipating massive, sustained future growth from a burgeoning middle class. China Eastern isn't looking at the A330neo merely as a tool to lower their carbon tax bill, like SAS.
Right.
Their regional demand requires massive physical capacity for wide-body growth. They just need seats.
But why order them now if you don't even want them until 2030 or 2033?
It's all about securing the delivery slots. Assembly lines only move so fast.
Ah, the wait list.
Right. If you wait until 2029 to order 25 wide-body aircraft, you won't get them until, say, 2035. And by then, your competitors will have already captured all those lucrative international routes.
So they're basically calling dibs.
Exactly. China Eastern is locking down the physical capacity to expand their international footprint years in advance. The A330neo is versatile enough to be a surgical tool for cost-cutting in a mature European market and a blunt instrument for massive route expansion in a growing Asian market.
That makes a lot of sense. But long-haul flying is only a fraction of the market, right? If everyone is so focused on the A330neo and these massive twin-aisle jets, how are airlines handling the domestic routes that actually pay the daily bills? I mean, most of the flights you and I take are 2-hour hops, not 14-hour oceanic crossings.
You're totally right. The official orders and deliveries data from Airbus shows that their real momentum, the absolute volume driver of their manufacturing, is the A320neo family.
What?
This includes the A319neo, the A320neo, and the A321neo. These are the narrow-bodied jets.
So single-aisle planes, the ones you take from Chicago to New York or London to Paris.
Yeah, the workhorses. The A320 family remains central to Airbus's order momentum globally. While a wide-body jet might fly 1 or 2 long legs a day, these narrow-body jets fly 4, 5, or 6 legs a day.
That's a lot of wear and tear.
Oh yeah, they have rapid turnaround times. They really are the backbone of short and medium-haul flying.
It makes me think of them like the standard operating system of the aviation world, like iOS or Windows, because it's so incredibly common, every developer builds apps for it.
That is a perfect analogy. Because the A320 family is so ubiquitous, the vast majority of pilots basically learn to code or fly on this specific operating system.
Right.
The sheer volume of these single-aisle jets rolling off the line means that the bulk of pilot hiring worldwide, and honestly the heaviest burden on those 2 a.m. simulator schedules we talked about, and the vast majority of instructor demand, it's all tied directly to this platform.
Wow.
Yeah, it dictates the baseline of the global aviation labor market.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Because while we have been talking exclusively about commercial passenger airlines like SAS and China Eastern, the briefings reveal that these manufacturing numbers also dictate military logistics.
Yeah, this part is wild.
NATO is actively expanding its multinational tanker and transport capability, the MRTT program.
Right, the multi-role tanker transport.
And the aircraft NATO is using to expand this capability is the Airbus A330. The exact same foundational blueprint that SAS uses to fly tourists to New York is being utilized by NATO for strategic military operations.
What's fascinating here is the dual-use nature of this technology. According to the Reuters report in our briefing, NATO's current MRTT fleet consists of 9 A330s based in Eindhoven in the Netherlands.
Yes.
And they are planning to grow that fleet to 12 aircraft.
Let me stop you there for a second. Going from 9 to 12 planes, I mean, it doesn't sound like a massive military buildup. But a military tanker isn't just a passenger plane painted gray with the seats ripped out, right?
Oh, no, not at all. It is a highly modified strategic asset. A military tanker acts as a flying gas station.
Okay.
Air-to-air refueling is a massive force multiplier. Instead of a fighter jet burning fuel to return to base, the base literally comes to the jet.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it allows entire air forces to extend their operational range and remain on station indefinitely. An A330 MRTT can carry an immense payload of fuel in its belly while still hauling troops and cargo on the main deck.
But why use a passenger jet blueprint for a military tanker? Why doesn't NATO just design a specialized, purpose-built military aircraft from the ground up? It seems like retrofitting a commercial airliner would come with a lot of compromises.
You'd think so, but it actually comes down to the global supply chain and existing infrastructure. By modifying a commercial A330, NATO taps into an established worldwide network.
Oh, because the parts are everywhere.
Exactly. If an MRTT needs a landing gear component, a hydraulic pump, or an engine part anywhere in the world, those parts are already available because commercial airlines everywhere fly the A330.
That's incredibly smart.
It is. Any major airport that handles wide-body passenger traffic can theoretically service the military tanker. Furthermore, military pilots can transition into the MRTT with much of the foundational knowledge of the aircraft systems already mapped out by the commercial sector.
The versatility is just incredible when you think about it. It is executing billion-dollar corporate efficiency strategies in Europe, fueling fighter jets in midair for NATO, and setting the stage for Chinese international expansion in the 2030s. And every single one of those use cases ties directly back to those delivery numbers. Whether it's an A320neo or an A330, every plane coming off the line adds to this complex web of global logistics.
It really is a vastly interconnected ecosystem.
Right.
You simply cannot change one variable, like pushing manufacturing targets from 810 to 900, without forcing every other part of the system to adapt, from pilot hiring pools all the way to military readiness.
So the next time you board a short-haul A320neo for a quick business trip, or you settle into a long-haul A330neo for a vacation, take a second to look around that cabin. You aren't just sitting in a metal tube, you are sitting inside a massive economic engine. Your specific seat on that specific plane is the end result of a really complex equation dictating the scheduling of global flight simulators, international route authorities, and the global labor market.
This raises an important question, though. We've talked about the informal push for 900 deliveries. If Airbus successfully pushes past its official 870 target and hits that informal goal of 900 deliveries this year, aircraft will be rolling off the assembly line at a blistering pace.
Right.
But considering the intense pressure this already puts on simulator capacity and instructor demand, what happens to international route expansion if the planes are ready to fly? But the global pilot training infrastructure simply can't keep up with the delivery surge?
Basically having shiny new planes with no one legally certified to fly them.
Exactly. The hardware means nothing without the trained humans in the cockpit.
That is a completely different way to look at a manufacturing headline. We will definitely be watching those delivery numbers a lot closer from now on. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the skies. Keep your eyes open, keep asking questions, and safe travels out there.